Good evening, everybody. It is wonderful to be here. We're very, very pleased and proud to be here and be able to present to the Committee for the Inspire Giving Grant and members of the Metro Chamber. My name is Lisa Culp, and I am the Executive Director and founder of Women's Empowerment, which is a nonprofit organization that is dedicated to ending homelessness for women and for children through education, through personal empowerment, and through employment. Last year, and really over the last 15 years, our statistics show that 8 out of 10 women regain a safe place for themselves and their children to live and get a job or enroll in school. At Women's Empowerment, we really know how crucial survival services are, providing food, shelter, clothing. And I worked at Loaves and Fishes for a while. But I also know that if we want to end that generational cycle of homelessness, we need to do more. We need to provide women with the tools that they need to get a job and to be a competent employee so that they can provide for their children.
Can you speak up?
Louder? You got
Yeah,
it.
it might be better.
Okay.
No, is it capturing it?
It's supposed to be a good mic. That's all I can say.
Well, I'll project more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our ears may not be as good as the mic.
Yeah, exactly.
My eyes aren't as good as
Maya,
mine.
do you want to move closer? Can you hear?
Good one, Casey.
So basically, what we've realized that if we want to break that generational cycle of homelessness, we need to provide women with the tools that they need to get back into the workforce. If we want to change what we see on the streets of Sacramento, if we want to change what we see when we look out the doors of our buildings, of our businesses, we need to do an intervention that goes beyond survival services. So before I get into the details of women's empowerment and the grant proposal, I wanted to show you a video that was made this summer when women's empowerment was featured on the Today Show. And this will give you some background about women's empowerment. It will give you some background about the Get a Job Kit, and it will introduce you to some of the really amazing women who are able to turn their lives around in 8 short weeks.
Today on Home to it, one woman's inspiring effort to help women and children live in community.
She's trying to end the cycle of poverty that affects so many families by helping them to get a roof over their heads and find a job. As we saw firsthand, the results have been remarkable.
As I write this letter, I am feeling lost and buried after all my bumps and fears.
My hopes will be that I have the confidence in myself, that I do not feel like such a failure, a big, fat, lousy failure.
I feel the need again to heal, hopefully for good, once and for all, at almost my 48th birthday.
The women in this room know what it's like to lose almost everything. Reading letters they wrote to themselves brings back memories of life's lowest point.
I felt lost, really lost. And I felt fear of losing my daughters because I was living in a homeless shelter.
Araceli Rosas found herself homeless and jobless with her 2 girls after fleeing an abusive relationship. She came here to an organization in Sacramento, California called Women's Empowerment, where she met Lisa Culp.
It's not that I can change the circumstances of their lives, but I know that they can change the circumstances of their lives.
Every 3 months, Lisa's organization helps about 24 homeless women gain not only job skills, but self-confidence.
I am, I have, and I can.
Their situations are different, victims of domestic violence or economic hardship. Some struggle with addiction, but all of them are seeking the same thing: a job and a home and a little bit of pride.
I learned how to love myself a little bit more here with the help of everybody here.
Look, see, now it's all uneven.
After Chanel Sadler's husband left her, she moved 18 times in 3 years with her daughters before Women's Empowerment helped her find work at a local college and move into this brand new apartment.
Now that we have our own place, our own foundation, our own area that we can just relax and let our hair down, it's like a weight. It's just gone. It's gone.
When people think of homelessness, they think of the person
organization is supported by a team of 600 volunteers. Over a decade, they've helped more than 1,200 women start over.
Araceli Rosas.
Last month, Araceli became the 1,247th woman to graduate, at one time feeling worthless and alone.
I had to look inside and search myself. Search this woman whose inner voice was taken away and shut down and replaced with a critic.
Now transformed into the person she says she was meant to be.
And if I would go back to April 21, which is the first day of class, and tell myself I would speak in front of hundreds of people, the fact that I am like the shyest being in the whole world, I would be like, ha, no way, Jose. I would never do that. Guess what? I just did. Thank you.
On this day, 24 women began a new chapter, cheered on by the woman and the children who gave them the strength to pull through.
We're happy to report that Araceli is very close to being hired in a paid administrative position. We wish her the best of luck. Each of the graduates, by the way, gets one of these Get a Job kits. As you see, they come filled with worksheets and tips to help them as they set out on the job hunt. Nearly 90% of the women who finish the program find jobs, and safe housing is one. You saw so many of them are moms. It's so important.
Great program.
Yeah, incredible. We need many more programs like
And
this.
they make that point about women and homelessness and the direct effect on children there.
Yes, oh, absolutely. We'll be back in a moment. This is today.
So just a quick update, Araceli, who you saw, did get a job. This was in July, and she has not only gotten a job, but she's gotten a promotion, and she is still employed. She's in housing with her 2 daughters, so it was nice that that was the person they chose to feature. The interesting thing to me about this is you saw women in there. One woman in there has her master's degree. You saw women in there who've not finished college or high school, who don't have their GED. You saw women who were homeless for the very first time, and you saw women who had been homeless for years and unemployed for years. But what all of the women have in common is a deep desire, dedication, and motivation to change their lives, to get a job, and to really be a contributing member in our community. The Get a Job kit, which you also saw at the end of the video, is designed for the 25% of the women who, when they graduate from the 8-week program, aren't ready to get a job. None of you would hire them. I would barely hire them. So the training program is designed to really help those women gain the skills so that we are their first employer, and once they've had a job, they know not only how to get a job, but how to be a good employee. And there's a big difference in that. The Get a Job Kit is a 22-year-old award-winning product. It's been on Oprah. It's been featured in the New York Times. It's been featured in the Wall Street Journal. Was donated to women's empowerment in mid-2014 by a local businesswoman in Sacramento who'd been volunteering at Women's Empowerment for years. And she donated it to Women's Empowerment because she wanted to help us expand our mission and to eventually create a new funding stream. Women's Empowerment does not receive or solicit any government funding. All of our funding comes from the community, from community grants, from individuals. And we do that in large part because we work really hard with women to get them to no longer be dependent on government assistance. So if we want them not to be dependent on government assistance, we need to lead by example. The women who are in the training program are paid. And while they're in the program, they receive education and training in the fields of assembly, customer service, quality assurance, inventory management. They receive performance evaluations. Performance evaluations are wonderful. When people come and I'm interviewing for them for a job and they bring a performance evaluation from an employer, I love that because I can see what their strengths and weaknesses are, not from what they're telling me, but from what their employer's telling me. So that's a valuable thing that they receive. They learn to punch time clock. You know, they may have all sorts of barriers, but they are expected to be there, to suit up, to show up, to be on time. If they make a mistake, it's a learning opportunity, but they have to learn. So what we're doing is training people to be, not so much to assemble a kit or to sell a kit, but to be a good employee, which is what all of us want when we're hiring people. In addition to the training and the assembly that they receive, they engage in intensive one-on-one job search with their employment specialist. And Leslie Nye is one of our employment specialists who's here with us tonight. Since we started the training program in 2014, 36 women have graduated and 70% have gotten a job. Now the women who work for the Get a Job Kit are the ones with the greatest barriers to employment. So the 70% is lower than our 88%, but it's pretty amazing given where they started. The Inspired Giving Grant would go a long way in helping us not only to pay the trainee stipends, the transportation assistance. We provide all of them transportation assistance, bus passes, mileage reimbursement, because if they can't get there, they can't do anything. And childcare. We provide on-site childcare, which is something that is crucial for moms. Without a safe place to leave your children, how are you going to be a dependable employee? And our child care specialist works with the children because many of them have experienced trauma to help them reach their developmental milestones so that when they are in school, they're not so far behind. With the help of this grant, we would be able to enroll 24 women in 2016. We would also be able to maintain and probably exceed our 70% employment rate and our 89% housing rate. And now how Metro member chambers can provide support. What I love most about this grant is the in-kind support that's available. That is invaluable. We know that Metro Chamber members have the skills and the expertise that as nonprofits aren't necessarily our core competencies. And that your skills and expertise could really help us to increase the impact and effectiveness of this small business. Our business plan is to expand the Get a Job Kit in order to turn it into a social enterprise, which is a business that has a double bottom line. It has the financial bottom line of all of our businesses, but it also has a second bottom line that is equally important, and that is a social mission, which for us is to get homeless women employed so that they are no longer homeless and so that their children don't grow up homeless. Our first year, which was in 2014, we met our annual growth goals. The students created, sold 5,000 Get a Job Kits and sent them out across the nation and to U.S. military bases overseas where they're utilized. Then we lost our largest customer, which was Heald College. And I'm sure many of you know about the closure of Heald College. All 12 of the colleges used the Get a Job Kit as their training tool for their students when they were graduating from Heald in how to get a job. So in 2015, we only sold 2,700 kits, which was immensely disappointing. With the help from the Metro Chamber, what we would like to do would be to strengthen our marketing, our promotion, our customer outreach, and sales. We could benefit from any training that Metro Chamber members could offer, especially in business development, business-to-business sales, marketing, operational efficiencies, quality assurance, and inventory control. With help from the Metro Chamber members, we would like to create a new strategic marketing plan for the Get a Job Kit. Perhaps update, as lovely as it is, update the look of the Get a Job Kit, and to diversify our customer base as well as sell more Get a Job Kits. This program has the potential to be highly sustainable. When the Inspire Giving Grant and the in-kind support would end, we have several other things built into place. One of them is Melissa Davidson, who is an AmeriCorps Vista volunteer, and she's just started at Women's Empowerment. AmeriCorps made a 3-year commitment to women's empowerment for the Get a Job Kit to strengthen systems and the tools and the infrastructure of the Get a Job Kit. So she would be the beneficiary of a lot of your training, and so we wanted her to come tonight. So there's a 3-year commitment for that. The end of 2015 was good to women's empowerment. We signed on a new large customer who ran across the country to purchase the kits as well. We have other funders who see the sustainability in the innovative model that the Get a Job Kit training program provides, like Wells Fargo, the Tyker Foundation, American River Bank, and others. So we've got all of the building blocks in place. But what really will make the difference is the expertise that the Metro Chamber can offer. Women's empowerment knows that with the help of the Inspire Giving Grant and the Metro Chamber members' in-kind expertise, that we will be able to grow the business, and that not only will women and their children be able to break that cycle of homelessness for good, but job seekers across the country will have a tool that's very beneficial to them. There's a reason we were chosen to be featured on the Today Show, because they could have picked any city in this country and any program in this country, and they chose women's empowerment and the Get a Job Kit because they saw it as a model nationally that could be replicated. And I can't think of a better partnership than with the Metro Chamber to help Sacramento be a leader in ending homelessness, especially for women and children. So now we'd be happy to answer any of the questions that you might have. Leslie has years of experience as an employment specialist, career counseling. She's getting her PhD right now. And Melissa is got the passion that all of us would love to have and the energy to really make this work and dedicate the time that it needs.
So the Get a Job Kit, is it just designed to help homeless people get a job?
Thank you for that question. No. Obviously, Hill College used it. Military bases use it for military personnel who are transitioning from military life to civilian life. There's youth build programs that utilize it. There are CalWorks programs that utilize it, CalWorks in California. But yes, all over the country. Junior colleges, this year we've sold it to junior colleges and to military bases and other places like that. So no, it has a wide variety of customers.
So,
yes.
so the women assemble these kits and,
Yes, they
and
do.
then they're sold, marketed and sold individually, but you mentioned a program, that they're part of a multi-week program?
Yes, so once they graduate from our 8-week job readiness program, those who have the greatest barriers to employment apply for the Get a Job Kit training program. And they go through 4 weeks of training, and half of it is training, and Melissa and Leslie can tell you even more about that, but they learn things like safety in the workplace, labor market standards, sexual harassment, different things in the training educational part. And then 2 days a week, they assemble kits, and they're all required to assemble a quota of kits, and then they do quality control for each other's kits, and then they learn about inventory management. Yesterday's workshop was on how much each piece in that kit costs. So they learn the value of that.
So there's an initial training program, and then some of the women go work for you, essentially,
Yes.
building the kits.
And then they start, those who have sales skills, we're looking at moving them into really doing the sales, so that our employment specialist, who has background in sales, can coach them in that, but who doesn't have to do that, so she can help people get a job.
How long do they work for you, you said?
The training program is 4 weeks. So ideally, if it became a social enterprise, the model would be that it would be transitional employment. They would work for us. Once we can sell 10,000 kits a year, that's what our business plan has decided that we need to be able to do. they would work until they got a job, so that they wouldn't have to lose their housing. What we're really trying to do is prevent people from falling back into homelessness.
Can you, well, first of all, you're local only, you're not part of a national group or anything like that?
That is
So
true.
all of this, the Get a Job Kit was created for women empowerment?
No, it was created by a businesswoman. She was actually the first female spokesperson for Aerojet, and then she worked in PR for Mercy Hospital. And then she decided she really wanted to...
Linda?
Pardon?
Is this Linda?
No, her name is Shirley Wiley.
Oh, okay.
And then she created a company called Etiquette and Company. Etiquette and Company, and this is a product of Etiquette and Company. And then she volunteered at Women's Empowerment for 8 years, and when she wanted to retire, she donated the business with an initial inventory to Women's Empowerment.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What do you sell the kits for? How much do they sell for?
So an individual kit would sell for $15. If they buy 250 or more, it goes down to $13.99, shipping included. We started off with less than that, but everybody told us you have to have shipping included. Okay, so now it's all shipping included. Yes.
Go ahead.
Oh, I just saw on your Women's Empowerment Heroes that Leadership Sacramento is,
Yes.
and so I know that was in the class of 2014. Was it one of the classes?
It was
or-
2007,
Okay.
and on our board, we have had 4 of the Leadership Sacramento participants be board members, service board members. It was one of the best. It's like this. It was one of the best things because of the in-kind support and the ongoing support, because people get so passionate. And
No, I was class of 2012, but Tina Reynolds was in our class, and
Oh,
she
okay.
went to transitional housing and ultimately a home of their own. And graduation day, which you saw snippets of in that video, is one of the more emotional experiences in my life.
Aw. Thank you.
Can you just go into a little bit more in depth on the volunteer and in-kind? I understand that the cash grant, but how specifically, you mentioned things like marketing and marketing plan, but is there, are there other specific traits or products that you'd like to see or that would be beneficial to your organization?
So it depends on if we're talking about the Get a Job Kit or the organization. The grant is really focused on the Get a Job Kit.
Okay.
I could answer it that way, or I could expand and talk about our, mentoring opportunities, and, we have a financial literacy program, and we have financial coaching, and, just different things for what people's interests and capacity, skills are, and expertise is. For the Get a Job Kit, what we really need a lot of help with, and Leslie, if you want to add to this, please do. This is a great kit. It's a lovely briefcase. But not many of us carry a briefcase anymore. So, it could be updated. They're sales and business-to-business sales. As a nonprofit, we don't do a lot of business-to-business sales. And I'm finding the perseverance that you have to sell something. I mean, it took me 6 months of perseverance to get that sale from the county, because it had to go through umpteen thousand channels.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh
Somebody
my
should
gosh.
hire you then.
Oh my gosh. I mean, to the point where I offered to hand deliver, and we're delivering them, boxes of, they've got trucks, all we had was our cars. But we're gonna deliver them, so we don't have to pay the shipping. Obviously it's local, so we can do that. We have several local organizations in Sacramento that are also using them. The Asian Resource Center utilizes them, Volunteers of America utilizes them, TLCS utilizes them.
Might call Macy's.
Yes, I think that's a great idea. Patty.
He said that's the added job
I
kit.
did not say that out loud.
Patty, do you want to tell them the story about your board?
So, Women's Empowerment is in the River District, and we do a business profile at our board meetings on a pretty regular basis. So I invited Lisa to come to talk about Get a Job Kit. It was also on the agenda and she did her presentation, the board was very impressed, and she left one behind. The other thing on the agenda was an executive session for the executive director review. I had to excuse myself while they talked, and then they asked me to come back. And when I came back in to get a job, the kid was sitting.
Wow.
They thought that was great.
They thought that was very good.
There wasn't something redeeming that came from that? They exchanged your
And Patty has been a wonderful champion for women's empowerment and the Get a Job Kit. She got us before the city council to talk about the Get a Job Kit because this was a local business in the River District that was doing well, putting people to work and helping end homelessness. And
I think it was one of your anniversaries.
that's right, it was on the first anniversary. Mhm.
So the homelessness has been quite a theme tonight.
I know.
All these, which is, very timeliness as well.
Yes.
But how is women's empowerment partnering or working with other local nonprofits or agencies in our region?
Women's Empowerment partners with all of the agencies. One, because, well, for many reasons. We receive referrals from the shelters. We receive referrals from Weave. We receive referrals from WIND, so that we can help them. I mean, we're all parts of a puzzle. And our part is to really help build up their self-esteem and their confidence so that they know what they have to offer and they can offer it to an employer. So that they know when an employer asks them, tell me a little bit about yourself, they don't say, well, last night I slept under a bridge and it took me 2 light rails and a bus to get here and I walked 3 miles and, they talk about what what they can offer the employer rather than, they're in survival mode. So we're a referral source for those agencies. We also refer to those agencies. When we have women who are in domestic violence situations, we advocate really hard to get them into Weave. We provide domestic violence services on site, but to have a shelter where they can go and stay is priceless. While we're working on longer term solutions. All of our classes for the most part are taught by volunteers. So we have people come in and who teach the job seeking skills and the resume writing and the mock interviews. So some of those are from other nonprofits, but a lot of those are from the business community, from the health community, from the educational community. So we partner not only with nonprofits, but with as many people in the community. We have 600 active volunteers. Each student, as you were saying, is paired up with a volunteer career mentor. And the mentoring program is just for women because they meet one-on-one. And they really coach them on
that. So we all are working together to kind of help connect each other with women's empowerment and all of that.
Yeah, we all need each other. I mean, as Matt saw when we went out, Susie and Sarah are people that we know well. I sit on the advisory board for Sacramento Steps Forward as a representative for employment. And so all of the people on that board we work closely with. We need to. We don't have housing. We need their housing. So this side's been quiet. Nobody's got a question over there?
You did a great job.
Thank you.
Very impactful.
Thank you. It's usually better if I speak from the heart, but I decided to put notes together and I can't see them because it's all reflecting with the silly.
With the lighting.
From the heart, basically.
I know, it still sounded like it was from the heart.
It was from my heart.
Any more questions? No? All right, thank you so much.